What's up YouTube, this is JMilionair here with another review of some kicks that just came in. If you're looking at the description and clicked on this, you probably know what this is. But just in case, this is inside the Air Jordan 1 highs, the OGs of Travis Scott's. So this is like one of his first iterations with Nike, besides like I think the Air Forces. But yeah, this is the Air Jordan 1s. So, long story short, I'll get into a little quick review of these because you should have known what these look like. They've been out for months. But I'll do a quick review of those, and then I'll get into the actual legit checks that I know, and some tips and tricks on how to legit check these in case you're still trying to buy them because they're pretty pricey. But yeah, let's get into it. So off top, the tag on here is Air Jordan 1 high OG, of course, with the suggested retail in here. One thing I've seen on here, if the flap is glued down, it's not flappy, or of course it's gone. I could kind of differ you from legit checking, but the box isn't always everything, but it does help. So the legit suggested retail here, if it's super bold or the same font as that, or even thicker than this, uses the guide. That's a sign. Of course, another thing is the gold on here is just as shiny and nice, and the print on here should be crisp, as you see here. The barcode on here shouldn't have any dots in the black, and it shouldn't be all fuzzy. It should be pretty crisp like that as well. The actual numbers on here will differ on these last digits versus on your size, but it should look just like that, basically. On the front of it just has Nike, and this one came from some store. I don't know what it is, but it just had that sticker on there as well. Nike on that side. Nike in the back with the 1985 Air Jordan 1 and all the stuff about the swoosh. And then the regular Nike on that side. Let's get to the bottom of this. So it has that black Nike Air with the Nike Air sticker, Air Sole, and the regular stuff that's on one box, Jumpman, all that other jazz. And that's it. Oh, no, that made in China. So that's the bottom box. One thing I'll show you, of course, as you see, got these from GOAT. Long story short, I copped a pair. The person selling them sent in a wholly different shoe. I think it was some LeBrons, a totally different size, like a 13 or 12. They didn't get authenticated, of course, and I ended up copping these after. So I ended up waiting a longer time than I wanted to, but it was worth it because these are pretty flawless, and I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, that's what happened. So, of course, you got the little stamp and the GOAT stamp and the GOAT sticker. So that's the side. So underneath the top, as you can see, there's only this little label that says swoosh, trademark or registered, whatever, and then the actual swoosh with a registered little logo on there as well. If you're just looking at it, you wouldn't see anything else, but there actually is some other stuff you can look, and they differ on every box. So on here, using the light, you can see a Nike swoosh up there. You can't see it regularly unless you kind of look like a glare. It's like a different kind of ink, I guess. It's like an orange color, Maury. And then on here is also some dates on here as well, or some numbers rather. So naked eye, you can't see it, but if you look with some shine or some gloss or whatever from ambient light, you can see that on there. So that's another sign. Onto the box itself, you should have some kind of wax, pretty thick pink wax paper with Cactus Jack logos and Nike and Air Jordan logos on it. The fakes ones, from looking and researching, are a little bit lighter in color, but of course I don't have anything to compare, so I don't cop or rock fake, so I won't be doing that. But just use it as a guide, I guess. Underneath that pink is a white, thin, flimsy paper as well. And onto the shoes. Well, actually, wait a second. I'll show you some other things in the box. Put this to the side. So inside the box, only actually writing is the dimensions of the box back here, if you're wondering. And then for some reason, mine has these two YDM stickers on there. Usually you see one or two. In this instance, it's two. Weird. But yeah, that's it. So let's get into shoes now. I'll put the one with the laces back here. We'll get into that last because it's easier to maneuver this one. Okay, so let's get into some things first. Let's go into the actual materials, I guess. So on the materials of the shoe, it consists of that brown upper and that like light mocha, beautiful chocolate color. The material in here is really high quality, I guess, brushed suede. I'm barely putting my finger on here, like barely moving it, and it's, brushing. So That's another sign. I mean, like I said, it's kind of hard to see if you have a fake in front of you if you don't have another one to compare, but I could just tell the quality is probably like the best material used on a one ever with Jordans. I don't know. Let me know if that's true or not. That's just what I think from all the shoes that I have. But yeah, okay. Anyways, besides that, the tumbled leather on the white part is actually really, really soft, like a thick baseball glove. And as you can see, it's really tumbled. And then the swoosh on here is a little harder, not harder, but firmer tumbled leather as well, but it's still soft. Of course, the toe box on here is the other white tumbled leather, regular tongue with that Cactus Jack logo. And then this shoe has Cactus Jack on the inside, and the other one has Nike Air. The one main thing about a lot of the Travis Scott stuff is they have the pockets in them. This one, of course, has one in the actual upper of it. And there's supposed to be some things in there. I put some stuff in there. One thing they do said on some of the legits and the fakes that there was supposed to be a white stitching in some of them. I've also seen some legits and some people have some legit pairs that don't have the white in there, so that doesn't really mean anything. So disregard that. But if you do have a white, I guess, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. Another thing is the stamp on here is embossed or debossed pretty well. You can run your fingers across it and feel it. It's in there pretty deep with that black paint. And of course, the other thing that you should be able to tell on a Jordan is the R and the D should be touching down there. Other thing as well is the wing right here should be lining up right with the bottom. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that right. It's right with the bottom of this hole, of the eyelet. If it's off or wonky, that's another sign. Look for that. The tip of this Nike swoosh, the other end should be lined up in the middle, kind of like almost with the edge of these eyelets. If it's too far further or like too close to the other, that's another sign. It's pretty much in the middle of them. This other thing where the stitching is supposed to be touching the swoosh, I found that that's not really a thing. The quality control on Nike on real pairs isn't even consistent, so you can't disregard that as well. The Travis Scott on this side, it is pretty visible when you're looking, but it's not obvious if it's too popping and too bold, as well as the letters are just too thick. This is a gauge, and that's another sign to look for. Again, this leather on this side is super soft, buttery, tumbled leather. The rear on this has that stamp. Let's see what focus is. Again, the stamp on here is supposed to be in there pretty deep and stamped well. On both of them, they should be pretty stamped and look uniform. Of course, the quality control on this, again, is all over the place, but as you can see, it's in there. Shouldn't be too shallow, because if it's too shallow, that's another sign. The iconic hourglass shape on the one kind of goes up like this and out like an hourglass. That's on, new pairs. Obviously, if you wear them, it will stretch out more, but coming straight out the box, it should look like an hourglass where it kind of goes in deep in the heel and then comes back out. It shouldn't be too puffy, but kind of like that subtle shape right there. Of course, this varies on all pairs that I've seen, so that's another sign. The back, the stitching, of course, should just look nice. It should just look immaculate. But of course, the arranging of materials on Nike stuff, the quality control is all over the place. Midsole in here is a sail colored midsole, and the stitching around the whole shoe should be the same color. It should literally match the same color. It shouldn't be white. If it's white, it's fake. Another sign that I've seen on here is the grooves on the sole. They are chunky and kind of look like shark teeth or like little W's or U's. They're not uniform, and they are kind of shallow, if you can see what I mean. Kind of look like little shark teeth or little triangles. But the actual stars in here are not pronounced as like the newer Jordans, like the newer Cement 3s and some of the other new Jordans are really, really sharp, standing pronounced stars. And everything on the bottom of this shoe, it kind of looks like it's already been worn, or it looks like just really shallow. So just take this in reference. I'll go like another angle again. See if that picks it up. Sorry, it's not really focusing. But yeah, basically it is kind of shallow and a weird looking bottom. So if you see something that's too pronounced and too nice looking, that's another sign. Another thing, oh yeah, so the tongue on here. Yeah, the focus is, geez. The tongue in here, so this Cactus Jack right here, it shouldn't be square. It should kind of be rounded because it's going to be round. Another stitching on here. It should have some material left over on the stitching. It shouldn't be just flush. It should have a little bit of material left over. The Nike Air in here, if you see closely, if it focuses, it should have a little gap under the K. It should indicate should not be touching the swoosh, because if it's touching the swoosh, that's another sign. R should be lined up, this little trademark should be lined up with the E, and then of course there's another trademark there. The actual tag on the tongue should be stiff, it shouldn't be too loose. That's another thing to look for. And the main thing that you can look for that should be on most pairs, not all real legit pairs, is if you lift this little thing up right here in the tongue, it should have some QR codes or some actual numbers and letters on there. It's on both of them. So that's another thing to look for. It doesn't have it on everything, but most of the legit pairs that I've seen that do have that. Also, if it doesn't have that look, it should have some stitching down there, but it's kind of hard to see. Inside, this has the Cactus Jack. Damn, what the hell is on my character? Has Cactus Jack, and the other one has the Nike Air. The size and tag on here for this pair, of course, size 10. And damn it. And it was made in December 5th and finished in October 5th. So usually should vary for a month or a little bit less than a month. But if they're made like the same day or way different, then that's another sign. Also, I've never seen a legit pair that has a QR code. There may be some out there, but all of the ones that I've seen don't have a QR code. So take that into consideration as well. Just in case you're looking, I'm gonna try to pull up these insoles just so you can see the stitching and kind of the shoe insole. So insole on these, if you're looking, the glue line should come up to a little bit up to here underneath this net notch, and it should look similar to this inside. Cool. One thing I did see, that you should be looking out for is the things that show up only on their black light. So let's see that. It's pretty light in here, but for this little thing demonstration, it doesn't really matter. So under black light, you'll see on this pair, there is a little black nudge right there. You can't see it off the camera when the light's on there, but you can see it when it's on there. And then on this other side, there's another glue or adhesive mark on there. So you can see under the black light, there is some blemishes on there. But pretty much if you look at most of the shoe, nothing should be glowing except for the Nike Air. Only thing that should be glowing on this whole shoe with the black light is the Nike Air. And of course some white stitching that's kind of poking out everywhere. And of course the white inside. If I turn the lights off, same difference. Only thing that should be shining over here is the Nike Air. The midsoles are only popping kind of because the light's shining off and it's reflecting, but only thing that should be glowing in this entire shoe is pretty much the white insole, white stitching, and that's it. On the 6s, I'll turn the lights back on. On the 6s, they had a lot of black light effects on the Cactus Jack logo, like the smiley face as well as the writing, and even on the insoles. But in the insoles in here, Nike or Cactus Jack, they should not be glowing. So basically, only thing on this shoe should be glowing is the Nike Air tag on the top. So look out for that. I've seen some where the midsole's glowing, kind of like the glow-in-the-dark shoes in the 6s, or soles in the 6s. I've seen where the Cactus Jack on the insole's glowing, or some other parts. So like I said, look out for that. That's another telltale sign. I know this doesn't really matter because the insole, somebody could take it out of a real one, put it in the fake one, but the insole looks like this with the size on the bottom. If it doesn't have anything there, it's another red flag. Of course, you can't base it only on that, but if everything else doesn't check out, then that's another thing. One last thing on this pair with the laces, it comes with a red pair, kind of sail pair, not white, a brown pair that's darker than this brown, and then a nice pink. And also that red is a little bit darker than the Cactus Jack. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, so these are pretty clean, way later than they came out, but I'm glad I got them, and I got a nice pair from Goat, I suppose. Hopefully Nike sends me some free Air Force Ones like they've been doing recently. I doubt it though, but come on. But yeah, that's it, man. So hopefully if you guys are looking for a pair, this will help you legit check your pair. But yeah, good luck. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.